Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel and for my International Scrapbooking Day 2024 album. So I've already been sharing some sneak peeks with you for what I'm going to be making this year. Now last year, my 2023 one, you loved, and I said it's a simple album I like to do for Scrapbooking Day, but with spaces for you to add your own touches. So I'm going to give you a base and you just decorate as well. And you enjoyed last year's, so I'm back this year with another little mini one. Now, both of these have been made using just one pad of their company paper. This one was made with one pad of Amazonia 12x12 by Stamperia. And this one was made using one pad of I Love My Dog, again, the 12x12 one by Echo Park. And even though I've made the entire album using just one, I've still got 12x12 sheets left, plus the scraps for making them. So what is different about my 2024 one? Well, as you open it up, you can flick through the pages. But what if you wanted to share this page with somebody, but somebody else wants to look at this one? It's a bit small for everyone to be looking around together. Well, the cool thing about this one is the whole signatures detach from the cover, and what you've got are two little mini folios that you can then pass around and share. And then once you're done, you just come back to the album and slide them back on. So I really enjoyed designing this one. It's an idea that's been in my head for a while, and I finally managed it. So to help you with making this project, I have made a cutting list ready. So this is the detachable page album for International Scrapbooking Day 2024. If you want a copy of this PDF, have a look in the description below and you'll see a link to my Facebook group, or just type into Facebook, Paper Crafting with Paul, and my group should come up. If you're not a member already, there's just a couple of questions to answer just to make sure. I've been having lots of robots trying to join lately. So just answer the questions and then head to the files section and you'll find the International Scrapbooking Day 2024 file there for you to download. So let's start with the chipboard then. For the chipboard, we are going to cut two pieces, 6 1/4 by 5 1/2. And one piece, 6 1/4, so also the height by the width by 2 1/2. So those are your chipboard elements. And then you just want to put it together whichever way you want. So if you would like to cover yours with paper, there's plenty of tutorials online on how to do the paper method. I like the tape method. This is Tiger Tape by Cool Cats Crafts. Again, any useful links will be in the description below. And for followers of my channel, you've seen me do this plenty of times before using the tape method. So that's all I've done whilst I was chatting the way there. I've taken the length of my tape and placed the chipboard down the center and just taken it around 3 sides. I'll be doing it again, so I'll show you slower next time. And now I'm just snipping the corners away just to remove some bulk. So I'm just taking my scissors and cutting towards the corners of my chipboard. As I said, I'm going to do it again, so don't panic. I'll show you a bit better from the start, because you do have the front and the back cover to do. Just smooth it down and pinch and press. Smooth it down both sides, pinch and press. So this is how quick you can do it once you've had a go and a few times. So it becomes sort of second nature and you don't even think about what you're doing. Okay, so there's one side done. So let's do the other one. So there's my piece of chipboard. So I'm using 1.5mm, and I've got my tape here, sticky side facing up. I take my grey board or my chipboard and I place it with one corner towards the edge and place it down the centre. Then extend the tape, keeping it taut. I'm holding this side and I'm holding this side. I'm just flipping it over, I'm pressing it down, and for the third side. You don't need to do the fourth because that is going to attach to our spine. Then I just pull it off a little bit so I can cut underneath. And mine is about 1mm short on both edges, because you don't want it to overlap into the middle, otherwise you're creating bulk inside your spine, because this is going to attach there and you don't want this to be sticking onto this. So all I'm doing now, in focus, is I'm cutting a little V shape towards my grey board on all four sides. There we go. And here we go. So we've got tape now on the three edges and corners cut. I'm taking my fingers and I'm rubbing it back and forwards, and then you'll see the chipboard sort of appear, or the line of it, indent appear. And then I'm just going to take my finger and thumb and just sort of smooth it over the edge and then just press it down. This is a small album, so it's quite easy to do. If it was a long piece, I would start in the middle and sort of work outwards. But with this one, it doesn't matter. Now I'm going to try and put a crease in it here. There we go. I've got a little crease there. You don't need to panic. One, you're not going to see much of the black anyway. And two, just grab a bone folder. I'm using the Cool Cats Teflon tool, and it just sort of irons out. And this tape does give you a lovely finish, and it makes covering albums so quick. And people say, oh, the tape's expensive, but it's actually a lot cheaper than having to buy all the double-sided tape and paper, because this will do loads of projects, not just cover one album, because one roll really does go a long way, and it does have other uses, and I will be using it in the album as well. Now what I've done here, whilst I was talking, forgot to actually tell you what I'm doing. I'm taping the top and bottom, just overlapping a little bit on the top and bottom. Right. Now I'm also going to use this tape as my hinge system. So I'm going to cut some tape, a couple of inches top and bottom of my chipboard. Move those out of the way. And I've got the sticky side up. I'm going to take one of my covers and place the untaped side just to the left of the centre line. So imagine the centre line is going down my tape. It's just a bit to the left. Now I'm going to take my spine and I'm going to line up the two corners. And holding them together, I'm just going to lift them up and flip them over, pressing in the middle, and then just ease it apart to get that gap in place. So that space is important because that's what allows it to flex. If they were touching, it wouldn't fold like that. And then just take a piece of tape and cover that gap in the middle. Take my tool, and there we go. And we're just going to repeat that now for this other side. So I find it easier to work sideways on. lining off up the corners, holding everything together and flipping over. Easing it apart, so not pulling it because it'll come off the tape, but just reopening that gap, folding over the two edges and taping up the gap. But as I said, this is just my preferred method. If you're going to cover it in whichever method you want, that's all you really need is the measurements for that playboard. There we go. And then just to neaten things up, because my spine isn't going to be covering everything, I'm just going to use this tape and I'm going to cover a bit more. Now, I'm covering way more than I need to here. I don't need to cover the whole of the spine, but because my tape is quite wide, it's done it without me even thinking. There we go. And that is our cover complete. How quick was that? So yes, definitely my preferred method. If you're new to scrapbooking or you've not tried this before, try the Tiger Tape by Cool Cat. It's brilliant. Okay, so that's our chipboard done. So it's now time to start doing the cardstock. Now, both of the signatures are exactly the same layout with me. Okay, so everything I'm doing today, you will just do a second time, because I've already prepared one of the signatures just to cut down on the video length. And I'll start off with my trimmer. And what I do, I sort of work in a mechanical fashion. I start with the left, I grab my card, cut and place things underneath here. But usually this is off to the side and I just place my pieces there, but for you to have it in frame. So the quantity is written down. So I'm going to do spine, one of them, which is 6 inches by 11 and a half. So for the moment, I'm just doing the quantity and the size. I'm not worried about the scoring yet. I'll do that once my scoreboard is out. Now, from now on, this is going to be all the pages. And as I said, I've already done one. So when it says 4, in the video, I'm just going to be cutting 2. And 4, I'm going to cut 2. Page pocket, I'm going to cut one of them. But you need 2 because you're making a second signature. But I've already done it here. Right, so that's my spine. So now pages. I'm actually going to cut them at the same time. So I've got 2 here. And these pages are 6 3/4. Make sure they're together. And the reason I cut these 2 together is then I know they're exactly the same size. So 6 3/4 by 10 3/4. 10 3/4. There we go. And then I would just do my other 2 for my second page straight afterwards. As I said, I'd keep them together. So let's see if I can come across a little bit. Am I still in shot? No. There we go. Right. Now I'm going to do my page 1 flaps. So I need 4 of these, so I'm just going to cut 2 for this video. 6 3/4 by 4 1/4. So I'm going to cut 1 and 2. Now page 1 pocket, can I get it up this? This is 3 inches. So is it 6 1/4 should be? Yes, 6 1/4. So from the same sheet. There we go. So usually what I would do is just tick as I've gone down. Right, so the next one is 2 1/2 by 6 1/4. So I'm going to cut the 2 1/2 first, because I can see my next one's going to be 9, so I need that length. So 2 1/2 by 6 1/4. So I need one of them. I need one flap, which is 9 inches. By 6 1/4. And I'll just carry on working my way down. Page 3 pocket, 7 1/4 by 2 1/2. So let's do the 2 1/2 first. I don't think I've got any pieces. No, they're 2 inches. So let's do the 7 1/4 first. 7 1/4. Oh no, let me do my 2 1/2. Let's not waste the big length. 2 1/2 by 7 1/4. So done that one. So 3 1/2 by 3 1/2. So I would get the other one, another 3 1/2 from there, so I wouldn't have to cut it from the second page for my other page. So 7 1/4 by 4 1/4. So this should be 4 1/4. Yes, plenty here. 4 1/4 by 7 1/4. And the last, oh no, not last one. 2 1/2 by 5 1/4. And the last one is 8 1/4, which is my A4 by 6 1/4. So that's coming from the same sheet as I just used as well. So there we go. That's all our bits cut. And now it's a case of scoring. So all my bits, as I cut, I've just piled up. So as I flip them over, they should now be in the order I need them. I wonder if I can zoom it out a bit. Ah, yes, plenty. So now, why didn't I just do that earlier? We're going to do the spine. So now I've got my scoring guide out. And at the bottom it says OT. So you can see it says OT here. That means on top of my scoreboard. And R means to rotate. So with this, it says 11 1/2 OT. So 11 1/2 on the top. And score at 5 1/4. Rotate 5 1/4. So that's the spine then that'll go into our album. So you can see it's just a simple, easy spine method. Nothing hard to today. So I'm going to put that with my cover, just so I'm not mixing it up with my pages. Right. We've now got our pages. So I said, I'm going to be doing 2. You will need to do 4. 10 3/4 on top. Score at 5 1/4. Rotate 5 1/4. And then 6 3/4 on top at 6 1/4. I'm going to repeat that for both. So tuck that underneath. So 5 1/4, rotate 5 1/4, 6 1/4. I'll tuck it under. Page 1 flap, so I've got 2 of them. You will of course have 4. Place it in the board and score at 6 1/4. So 6 3/4 on top at 6 1/4. And tuck them underneath. So we can tick, we've done those ones. Oh, and that one. Page 1 pocket now. So this is a 3" by 6 1/4. With 6 1/4 on top, we're going to do it 1/2 inch, rotate 1/2 inch. Then with the 3 inches on top at 1/2 inch. So we've done that one. Page 2 pocket is 2 1/2. So we're going to do it 1/2 inch and 6 1/4 on the top at 1/2 inch, rotate 1/2 inch. So just by ticking, I know where I'm looking for my next score guide. So this time, 6 1/4 by 9. With the 9 on top, score at 4 1/4 and 8 1/2. Place it under, take it off. Page 3 pocket. So 7 1/4 on the top, and it's good because the scoreboard tells me I haven't got the right piece. 1/2 inch, rotate 1/2 inch, and with a 2 1/2 on top at 1/2 inch. So now we've got our page 4 pockets, 3 1/2 by 3 1/2, score 1/2 inch on all 4 sides. It's a nice easy one, all the way around on all 4 sides. Okay, that one done. A belly band this time, so it's just 7 1/4 on top at 1/2, rotate and 1/2. And page 5 pocket, you've got 5 1/4 on top, 1/2, rotate 1/2, and 2 1/2 on top at 1/2. And then the final one, we're going to cut at 1/2 inch on all 4 sides. And then it says to grab my scoreboard and cut at 3 1/2. So I'm going to, 8 1/4 on the top of my scoreboard, 3 1/2. And that is all the scoring done. And again, I've been piling them in order. So when I hold them all together and flip them over, they're going to be in the order I want. So I'm going to grab some Sticky Paws acid-free pro tape. This is the 9mm version, 50 meters, by Cool Cats Crafts. It's an extra strong double-sided tape. So you could use your red liner, but the reason I go for this tape is the carrier the tape is on, you can tear it. You can cut it without having to get a scissors out. So you can just put it down and rip it off. So it saves you with that red line tape and having all the static red stuff getting in your way. You can just tear, and I gotta say, the backing does come off really easy with this. Okay, so this was my base page. So everything I do now, you will obviously do twice. So you see, this is the 1/2 inch we scored at the bottom, and I've just placed some tape between that 1/2 inch score line there and the paper from that spine bit in the middle outwards. And that's all I'm going to do now is cut a V shape on both these towards that score line. And you can use your trimmer, or just as I'm going to do, just use your scissors and cut down that score line, that 1/2 inch one. So that's going to make one page. And then I'm going to turn this one so that it's the other way. So the 1/2 inch is on the top. And I'm going to place my tape in that left-hand portion. I'm going to cut it exactly the same as this now. But every time, for some reason, I've got to do that every time just to make sure I'm doing things properly, even though I know in my heart that they're exactly the same. Because what's going to happen is this one is going to attach to that first one I did and create a pocket. So you see, so you want the flaps on opposite sides. So when you bring them together, they're going to come as a pocket like that. But more of that later on. So we've prepped page 1. In fact, what I'm going to do as well, as we go through, is I'm going to burnish all the lines. So I'm burnishing there. And I'm folding the other two like a book shape, like a book cover. So you've got that 1/4 inch spine there and a flap there. And now this one, and do exactly the same. So it'll be a flap there and then a 1/4 inch spine. Just roll it over, and just a gentle burnish will do for this. There we go. So you can see you've got that little 1/4 inch spine there. You've got the flap towards the bottom here, so the flaps are opposite. When they come together, it's going to make a little 1/2 inch spine like so, and that's what slides over our spine later on. So here's the page is done. Then we've got 2 flaps, so that's nice and easy. That's all we're going to do is place the tape across both within that 1/2 inch. So you probably can't see the score line. The score lines are there and there. We're going to fold it back. I'm going to burnish these really well because these are going to be like a waterfall type flap. So they need to be as flat as we can get them, which means you want to burnish these well. So I'm using the corner of my Teflon tool to really get a nice sharp fold. The longer you spend doing this, the better you finished, or the finish of your album is going to be. If you're just going to do gentle burnishes, what's going to happen is everything's going to just bounce up. So do take your time and do those properly. So then we've got a patch. So we've got a 1/2 inch down each side and across the bottom. So I'm going to place my tape inside those score lines. So not touching the score line, otherwise you're going to have exposed adhesive. So let's bring it closer to the camera so you can see I'm just placing it inside that 1/2 inch. And I'm going to grab my paper snips and we're going to cut our pockets the same on every single one of them now. So I'm going to show you with this one. We're going to cut towards that score line where they cross. Now if you keep going straight, it should be fine. But if you turn the scissors slightly and just make it a little bit sharper. If you look, that will be straight. I've just turned my scissors slightly. That just means when you come to fold over, those two lines, you can see with the backing tape, don't meet. So you reduce the bulk. Otherwise, if I did it like this, when I turn it over, those two are going to overlap and it's going to create extra bulk, which we don't want. So I'm going to cut it sharper. If you went straight, you'd probably be fine. But by just doing that little extra kink, you're just going to make sure that you're not going to bump. So that's page 1 pocket. So page 2 should be a pocket. I do think I've moved everything now. Nope, here we are. So I said all my pockets are going to be the same now. Placing the tape within the 1/2 inches. And doing those cuts towards the cross and sharper. So towards the cross and sharpen it. So this is the page 2 pocket. There we go. And now we've got our page 3 flaps. So this is just 1 1/2 inch score line, which is here. And that folds back. And then we're going to fold this one towards it. So what we've got is sort of a Z shape going here, and then just the small one there. And again, this needs to be pressed down. And then we've got a nice long pocket for page 3. This is going to be like a vertical one. So again, all the pockets are the same construction, taping up 3 sides, doing our sharpened cut. And make sure we're burnishing well. So it's not the most exciting part to watch, I know, but I do want to take my time burnishing these, because the flatter I get that fold, the flatter my pocket will be. And everything's not working against each other and trying to bounce out. There we go. And we haven't been ticking as I go because I've lost my pencil. Here we go. So we've done the spine, we've done the pages, we've done page 3 flaps and page 3 pockets. So now we've got this square. This square is going to be slightly different because we're going to take our tape around all 4 sides. And then I'm going to place it in my trimmer, corner point in the channel, corner point in the channel, and cut. So that's how we get our 2 triangular pockets. And now I'm just going to cut off the corners. So there's my score line cut off, and then that sharpened corner there. So again, up to the score line, just to reduce the bulk, and then to the cross, and bend and out. So these again need to be flattened, so I'm going to take my time bend them back. So I'm applying quite a bit of pressure, using the edge to run across. So I'm doing it from both sides. So you can see we've done our page 4 pocket. Page 5 belly band is just a top and a bottom. So tape on the top, tape on the bottom. And again, I want my belly band quite to lay quite flat, so nice sharp belly band. And the belly band does have a pocket on it. So here's the belly band pocket. So same as all the other pockets. I haven't folded them yet. Just getting ahead of myself, trying to put that into the pile. Okay. And the last bit are these 2 pockets here. So I could have taped it and then done that. If you remember, these came from the same piece. So I could have just left them on, taped up and then cut afterwards. But it would have been the same process. And so these are the last 2 pockets. So I usually do the 2 pages side by side as I go along. Or you can do it like I've done, do 1 page up first and then the other page. And the last 2. So we fold them over. Make sure I've burnished them down using that corner. So just run it along against that double-sided tape. There's 1 and 2. So this may seem like a lot of prep work, but once we've done all this, the album is actually going to come together pretty quick because all the hard work has been done already. Oh, so keeping everything. I think I've just changed the order. Never mind, we're going to flip them over and we're going to bring in our spine and take everything else out of the way. And we're going to start constructing. Okay, so let's start with the spine. Now, one optional extra, which I think is a good idea to do, is to take your corner rounder and take off the corner. So I've got a 3-in-1 here. So I've got a large, a medium, and a small. So I'm going to cut with my large one. Then my papers will be using the medium. And I put them on. So the reason I'm corner round, and I recommend you do too, is that rounded corner will make it easier for your page to slide onto. So rather than trying to get it onto a corner, it sort of just slides over. So it comes on and then it sort of just slides on. So yeah, so grab those trusty old corner rounders. And then I'm going to turn it over And I'm going to attach this strong tape up to that score line, down the middle, and down the score line to the side. So just about touching, but not actually touching. And take it off. And then just for extra strength, I'm going to grab my glue gun. And I'm going to run some glue down the middle as well. And then I'm going to pick it up and make that U shape. I'm going to sort of center it top and bottom. So you've got a little bit of space top and bottom. It's only a little tiny bit. And sort of left and right as well. I mean, you could get a pencil and measure it, but I'm going to go by eye. So when I open it, I can see it's touching up here and not there. So it's not quite evenly. So I'm just going to line it up like so. So I've just used the top and bottom of the grey board to line up the spine. And just get that contact. So I've got the tape which is holding it there for now. That glue will get dry and make it even stronger. And that is your spine done. So I told you it was a nice, easy construction method for the spine. So we've got one complete one. So now we're going to do the other one. So first of all, I'm going to grab my 2 pages. So what we want to do here is open them up, so the same way, flip this one over. So I've taken off the double-sided tape and I'm going to line up the 2 corners. And I'm working on the left-hand side because the right-hand side has got the adhesive exposed. There we go. I'll press that one down. And what you've got then is your pocket half done. So I'm going to just expose a little bit, just fold back my tape. So all of this I can move and maneuver, and I'm using my palm to come across to keep it nice and flat. Pressing down and then ripping up the tape. So what I've created is a pouch, and that is then the pouch that'll slide onto the spine, but from this side. So there we go. So we've got a little spine edge there. And just to help, I'm going to say this way. Page 1, this way up. Page 2 is this way up. 3. So as I'm covering, I know which page I'm on. So we've got 6 pages altogether. So we're going to start with page 1, which is these 2 flaps and a pocket. So let's move to page 1, and I'm going to open up my page. Just so I'm working on a flat area, I can fold page 6 down nice and flat. So I'm going to start by placing the pocket. So I'm going to take off the bottom, and I'm just lining it up along the bottom of my page. Now this album is 6 1/4. This little hingey bit here is 1/2 inch. So 6 1/4, if we take half away, that's only 5 3/4. So if your photo goes in and stops there, you're going to be a bit annoyed because it's going to stick out. So what you can do is take your tape, or any tape you've got at home, and if you just place it over the top like that, it'll sort of create a little ramp. So your photo will run down and over that, and it'll fit within the parameters of your page. Just a little good tip. So as I said, it doesn't have to be the black tape. It is really handy because you can rip it and it's really easy, and it works for your cover, so you probably got it if you've made the cover same as me. But if you haven't, any tape will do. Sellotape, washi tape, anything like that, because you're not after the strength. Then I'm just going to grab my ruler. I'm going to place it across the bottom, and I'm going to put my waterfall page 1/2 inch in from the edge. There we go. Just to help me centralize it. And this is just a bit bigger than the 6x4, so it fits a 6x4 photo perfectly. And I'm going to place another one directly on top. And you can also take your tape again and you can sort of tidy up that bit there so you don't get the bulk underneath your photo. And here I'm going to leave it blank, ready for my photos, so it just sort of tidies up. And I'm going to use my scissors this time, just because I'm going to see it. If I bring in one of the finished albums, I've decorated the front with a 6x4 cut apart, but the insides, I'm not going to waste paper because it'll be totally hidden, because these fit a 6x4 photo perfectly. So that just sort of neatens it up. So that's page 1. We're now going to go on to page 2, which was just a pocket. So I've just taken the tape off the bottom and I'm going to stick it down. Again, take my tape, otherwise my photos aren't going to fit if they keep catching. So we're just making that ramp. So page 2 is really easy. There we go. Page 3. So we should have a nice tall one. Ah, here we are. That's when everything fell. That's going to be placed up against that hinge. So we've got a 1/4 inch there. So I'm just coming in. I do want to see that score line. So I'm just going up against it, but without going onto it. And then creating that ramp again. Exposing tape. So I told you, all that prep work means that the album itself actually comes together really quick. Then our zigzag page, we've got our tape there. I'm going to just bring it to side. We're going to place it down the right hand side. And it's up to you. If you wanted to, you could put a magnet here and here, cover it with the black tape and close. I have done it on this, and I'll probably do it when I do the decorating video. You can see there's a magnet there. Otherwise, it just tends to flap a bit too much. So you've got a flap, but also one that opens up and out. Again, I'm not decorating these because they are perfect for your 6x4 photos as they are. So that's page 3 done. So always trying to keep everything flat. So now we're on to page 4. So page 4 is going to be our diagonal pockets. So I'm just going to take off the bottom of this one and place it, again, the right hand side up to that score line, but not onto it. There we go. Oh, I've exposed the wrong piece. So I'll have to just keep it up. And then this one on the bottom here, and open it up. And again, just because it's a 6 1/4 and I don't want my 6-inch photos to get stuck and stick at the top, that tape is just making a ramp. And just place them down. Page 5 is my belly band. So I'm going to do that 1/2 inch trick again. So I'm going to open up my album so I can get all the bulk off to the right and bring this here. That's the local children obviously having fun outside today. And I'm just using this and lining up 1/2 inch in, which would be there. And the top. There we go. And just for an extra space. So this pocket will go onto the belly band, and it's 4¼ inches wide, which means we can put our 6x4 photos in here. So everything is designed to maximize our paper usage, but also have useful spaces for photos. I mean, there's no point having an album if you can't fit photos into it. And I'm not one of these ones who just puts photo spaces of all different sizes. If you give it to someone who doesn't make albums, they're not going to know how to cut and do like a 2x3 and a 4x1 and things like that. So I make my albums to fit 6x4 photos, 4x4, 5x7, all the regular size, which you can just go and print at your print shop, and can be placed straight into the album. So final page, page 6, I'm placing down my largest pocket first, and then the smaller pocket is simply going to go on top. Again, I keep making these ramps. You can see why I love that tape. There we go. And that, once I open it up and find page 1, that's page 4, that's page 3, page 2. That's right. There we go. That's our 2 signatures made. And it's just a case now of decorating. So as you're decorating it, you will find that I've designed it to be very economical. So when you've got your 12x12 papers, you're going to cut it at 6 inches, and it's going to fit. And so you're going to get 2 lengths from each 12x12, and you're just going to cut the sides 1/4 inch less than the sides you're covering. So I'm going to be making it with graphic 45 and making the most of the 6x4 journal cards, because all these flaps here and here are 6x4, but everything else then will be 6 inches tall, and then the width of the thing. But I am going to film a separate video for decorating, which I hope you'll enjoy as well. Or now that you've got your base, you can crack on and start to decorate it yourselves. So if you are looking for links to the walkthroughs or the decorating, have a look in the description below. Also, as I said, in the description below, I will post a link to my Facebook group called Paper Crafting with Paul. And you can join that. You can go to the file section, download this very handy cutting and scoring guide, so you can tick off as you go along. So thank you for watching. Hope you're having a good International Scrapbooking Day, and hopefully you've been inspired enough to have a go. If you do, share those photos with me in Paper Crafting with Paul, so I can have a look at your versions too. So thank you for watching. Please write a comment below and hit that thumbs up and subscribe button. It does mean a lot. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you again soon.